Yeah, good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Hegelsaal, to our keynote session. I hope you enjoyed yesterday, the evening, the dinner. I heard some of you left the bar at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. So thanks for giving everything yesterday, and I hope you are now in the mood to enjoy our keynote session about competitiveness and the prospects of the European robotic industry. When we talk about competitiveness, it's always necessary to have a look on the views of the different stakeholders in Europe, and that's the target of our session today. We would like to hear different perspectives of different stakeholders on the European robotics industry with a focus on innovation, with a focus on transfer, and finally competitiveness and growth with the help of innovation, especially in the field of AI combined with robotics. And the first keynote will be presented by the Minister of Economic Affairs, Labor and Tourism of Baden-Württemberg, Dr. NICOLE HOFFMEISTER-KRAUT. Thanks for being here today. Minister Kraut, Hofmeister-Kraut is born in Balingen, so here in Baden-Württemberg. She studied in Tübingen at the University of Tübingen, did her PhD then in the north of Bavaria, in Würzburg, and then moved to London to work for the investment bank Morgan Stanley, and then came back to Frankfurt and as well stayed in London for Ernst & Young. And she's a real entrepreneur, shareholder of a company located in Balingen, Bizerba, maybe some of you know the company. And in 2016, she was appointed to be the Minister for Economic Affairs here in Baden-Württemberg and reappointed 2021. So she's really experienced in her profession, and she was and is always a driver for innovation. She knows how important technology is for the prosperity of especially Baden-Württemberg, and she continuously supports as well our efforts in the field of artificial intelligence and robotics. So it's very good to have you here, Minister Hofmeister-Kraut. The stage is yours. We're looking forward to your presentation.
Thank you very much, dear Mr. Bauernhansel. A very warm welcome to you, Mrs. Scioli. It's great having you here in the heart of Baden-Württemberg, in the heart of the automotive industry, and of course the robotics in Baden-Württemberg, and I would say in Germany and Europe. A very warm welcome to you. Dear Mr. Reger, dear Professor Hölzle, dear ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to have the most important robotics event of our continent here in Baden-Württemberg, in the heart of Europe. You realize we think big here in Baden-Württemberg. So, welcome to all of you in our beautiful state. Baden-Württemberg is the #1 industrial location in Germany, both dynamic and internationally successful in creating advanced technological solutions. Accordingly, the economic growth of our state depends heavily on international business. In fact, 1 in 3 employees works directly or indirectly for export. You can imagine that our state is therefore particularly affected by the current challenges of the global economy. But I'm convinced that each challenge translates into an opportunity. And in my view, one opportunity that we should definitely seize lies in the promising market of AI-based robotics. Dear ladies and gentlemen, Baden-Württemberg is one of Europe's leading regions in the field of robotics and automation. With a strong industrial base, world-renowned companies, and excellent research institutions, our state already today plays a central role in the development of innovative robotics solutions, particularly in the field of industrial robotics. It's remarkable that a third of the 50 largest robot manufacturers in Germany are located here in Baden-Württemberg. So for your meeting, you definitely came to the right place. Robotics research from Baden-Württemberg is recognized worldwide. It ranges from basic research to application-oriented research, and it is of the highest relevance both nationally and internationally. In addition to our outstanding universities and colleges, we also have important non-university and industry-related research institutions that excel with excellent, visible cutting-edge robotics research and promote the successful transfer of this knowledge into business. I don't need to tell you that for the development of intelligent robotic systems today, artificial intelligence methods are an important building block. Baden-Württemberg also plays a leading role in this area. With a broad and long-established excellence in research, we again cover a wide spectrum from basic research to application-oriented, business-related research. With flagship projects such as the Innovation Park Artificial Intelligence, the IPAI in Heilbronn, and the Cyber Valley, we are driving forward AI solutions from the initial basic approach to successful transfer and practical application. The strength of our AI ecosystem is also demonstrated by the fact that players from Baden-Württemberg are playing a leading role in major European projects such as the testing and experimentation facility AI Matters. Since 2024, the testing and experimentation facilities have been set up at 8 European locations where companies can test and certify AI-based components. In addition, I would like to also highlight our IPAI Lab as part of the Innovation Park Artificial Intelligence. The IPAI Lab is a real-world laboratory where companies can test their AI solutions under real conditions with the focus on the interaction of robotics, intralogistics, and data center interaction. I'm proud that in this way, Baden-Württemberg contributes to shaping the future of robotics and artificial intelligence in Europe. Dear ladies and gentlemen, in Baden-Württemberg, we have a strong robotics and AI community that is ready to pool its strength and jointly develop innovative robotics solutions. It means a great deal to me to present our position paper, which I hope you get today, or you already got. It's named Intelligent Robotics of the Future, that we publish today together with the Ministry of Science, Research and Arts of Baden-Württemberg. This position paper has been jointly developed by the players of the innovation ecosystem AI-based robotics Baden-Württemberg on the initiative of Professor Hölzle as my Chief Technology Advisor. I would like to express special thanks to the many representatives from business and science who have actively discussed with us and contributed to the position paper. In this regard, a very important representative from the industry is David Reger from Neura Robotics, who will speak to you in a few minutes. I would like to thank you, dear Mr. Reger, for sharing with us your vision of future robotics, and it's really impressive, which is finding its way into all households and into people's everyday lives. This is not only inspiring, but also necessary, considering the challenges, such as the shortage of skilled workers and the demographic change that shapes our societies. The diverse application areas of AI-based robotics open up great innovation potential for the Baden-Württemberg economy and beyond. In many fields of application, such as the automotive industry, mechanical engineering, logistics and medical technology, Baden-Württemberg is currently excellently positioned and can secure important competitive advantages through AI-based robotics. Other fields of applications, such as agriculture and construction or household and care, they offer great potential for the future. Let me therefore give you a brief insight into the key ideas of our position paper. Dear ladies and gentlemen, the aim of the position paper is to outline a vision for AI-driven robotics in Baden-Württemberg, a vision we want to realize by the year 2035. Our goal is clear: to position Baden-Württemberg as a leading hub for innovation and intelligent human-robot systems. The significant course must already be set by 2030 in order to achieve this vision. By 2030, we aim to be at the forefront, thanks to our strong market orientation, a dynamic and interconnected innovation ecosystem, and a particular emphasis on human-centered applications. As a result, we anticipate that by 2030, innovative robotic solutions will emerge from Baden-Württemberg with startups and established companies driving their market introduction and scaling. Looking ahead to 2035, Baden-Württemberg will be an internationally recognized partner in AI-based robotics that will be known for, first, providing innovative, demand-driven technology solutions of the highest quality. Second, being home to globally recognized cutting-edge research. Third, fostering a dynamic innovation ecosystem through effective knowledge transfer. And fourth, achieving success through broad technology acceptance within society. Now, you might be wondering, how will Baden-Württemberg reach this point? In the paper, we identify 5 key action areas, and I'd like to briefly highlight each one of them. The first action area is research, development and transfer, which is particularly important as a focus on an application-oriented research. By fostering close cooperation between academia and industry, we facilitate knowledge transfer that enables the growth of highly innovative, globally competitive companies right here in Baden-Württemberg. Scalability and integration capabilities are also central to this vision. This means testing innovative solutions in dedicated labs and real-world settings, while securing funding to scale them effectively. Another action area I'm deeply committed to is qualification and skilled labor. Ensuring early qualifications and attracting workers, as well as engaging private individuals as technology users, all of this will be crucial to the success of any transformation effort. Collaboration, visibility and societal acceptance also play a major role, as our state has a long-standing tradition of successful cooperation between society, industry and research. Now it's time to channel this regional strength into the field of AI-based robotics. And lastly, perhaps the most urgent issue, the right regulatory framework. Whether in Brussels, in Berlin, or right here in Stuttgart, we must work tirelessly to shape the regulatory environment in a way that fosters innovation and minimizes unnecessary barriers. So together with the stakeholders of the innovation ecosystem, we will translate the fields of action to achieve the vision for the future in 2035 or earlier. And with this clear vision, Baden-Württemberg, with its excellent AI-based robotics community, is your strategic partner for the modern robotics of the future. We are ready to shape the future, and we wanted to shape it together with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your inspiring words. Maybe one question, is that okay? You mentioned the 5 fields which we have to address in order to be successful. And I think in all these fields, speed is key, is relevant. What is your recommendation? How can we as the European robotic community achieve that speed? You mentioned the regulation is relevant. Maybe you have some other points which you would like to address.
So, of course, the regulation is key, and it's great having Mrs. Scioli today here with us, as she's aware of finding practical frameworks for AI in Europe. And this is, of course, very, very important. But what's also key is the collaboration. And I'm really impressed that so many of the robotics community, so many people, that you came to Stuttgart in order to get connected, to exchange ideas and to strengthen each other. In these days, tariffs are becoming more and more popular. It's crucial that we are getting more independent, also technology-wise, and it's you, all individuals who are here today, who are driving this independence we need in the world. And so we rely on you, and we count on you, and I hope you will be very successful, and the Congress today will help to intensify the collaboration and to making us all faster.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, collaboration is key. Collaboration in Europe is key. And we have seen and heard that the combination of robotics and AI is, from the technology perspective, key to really achieve the goals, the results we would like to achieve. And therefore, I'm very happy that Lucilla Scioli is with us today. She heads the AI office at the European Commission, which includes, for example, we talked about regulation, the implementation of the AI Act, but also the R&D and I programs in the area of robotics and AI. Lucilla holds a PhD in economics from the University of Southampton and from the Catholic University of Milano. And she worked now since 1997 for the European Commission. So she's very experienced. I think she knows excellently the mechanisms and processes on the European level. And we are very happy to have her here and curious to hear what the plans of the European Commission, what the plans are. And Lucilla will talk about harnessing AI to power robotics is key to enable Europe's competitiveness. The stage is yours, Lucilla.
Thank you very much for this nice introduction. And good morning, everybody, and of course to the Minister as well. And it's a real honor to be able to address you today in this very nice forum, which every time is attracting more and more participants, and that's also a very encouraging element to see. And I'm invited to talk about harnessing AI and robotics to enable Europe's competitiveness, but I also want to start by reminding one element, which is the fact that we talk a lot about competitiveness in the European Union. You may have heard talking about the Draghi report, which is the report which at the beginning of the life of this European Commission put the emphasis on the need of doing more on digital technology to harness competitiveness, because according to this report, half of the gap of the productivity gains with the United States are driven by a slower capacity to develop and diffuse digital technologies in the European Union. And so it has put, this report, a lot of emphasis on digital technologies, and it has also put emphasis on robotics, which is a new element in my life in the European Union, at the European Commission, in the sense that robotics has always been important, but right now it is leaving a particular political momentum. Top-level politicians have recognized that we are strong in this area in the European Union, and that we should be using robotics as well as AI as an opportunity to harness the competitiveness gains that we need to strengthen our economy. But right now, as was said earlier, in the geopolitical context, it's not just a question of competitiveness, it's also a question of security, it's a question of sovereignty, and robotics is not just a technology per se, it's a technology that is used in many important sectors like manufacturing, and we are in the capital here of manufacturing of the European Union, as well as in healthcare, in agriculture, and in space and defense. And so we also have to think a little bit of the role of robotics in this sense as an enabler of many different applications that are key indeed to our competitiveness and to our security. In this geopolitical context now, China and also the United States are actually making a lot of advances in robotics, and I hear that you have had also very good examples yesterday. There are more robots probably deployed in China per capita than in Germany right now. And the United States, on the other hand, are very much advancing also on the application of foundation models to robotics. Now, Europe is strong in robotics, it's always been, and we just have to make sure that we retain the competitive capabilities that we have. And one of the ways of doing that is certainly also to be able to harness the new developments that are taking place in AI, including, for example, the use of foundation models, and we'll hear more about it in the next presentation. But we do need to accelerate our industrial capabilities in this area. This is essential if we really want Europe to be placed as a hub for cutting-edge technology. And one of the reasons why we've been strong in the past is also because the European Union was able to put on the table what is probably the largest civilian research program for robotics, and that has certainly helped our research and development. Now we have to become even stronger in bringing innovation to the market in the future. We continue to have calls. We have very important calls coming up, in particular addressing the application of generative AI to robotics, and then also stimulating the application and the deployment of robotics to manufacturing. These will be very important calls, very large budgets that will be attributed to these calls. And the success will depend on the capability of the sector to collaborate, to find partners in the area of AI, partners in the area of manufacturing or other sectors. And so this collaboration itself is going to be key for the next generation of AI. Now, on the 9th of April, the European Commission will also come forward with a new action plan called the AI continent. So the European Union wants to become an AI continent. And in AI, more than in robotics, people think, of course, that we have to catch up, that we are kind of falling behind compared to, the real race is between the United States and China. It is true that in these countries there are very strong players and strong, which mostly related also to strong platforms. But in the European Union, we are not starting from scratch. So we do have some very good players in the European Union. They tend to be startups. We need to help them to scale up and also to collaborate exactly with players like the robotics community. And what we will do in the AI Continent Action Plan is that on the one hand, we will propose an even further strengthening of the infrastructure that we make available for the development of AI, because again, differently, for example, from the United States, in the European Union, we try to use supercomputing resources which are public here, and make them available to universities and to startups, so that they can use this computing capacity, which is obviously a very expensive, normally kind of resource, to develop artificial intelligence. And at the moment, we are even upgrading this supercomputing infrastructure to AI capabilities through the AI factories. There is one here in this region, which I hope will be harnessed, and more collaboration between the AI players and the robotics community and the manufacturing community should really take place, thanks also to these AI factories. In the AI Continent Action Plan, we will also be talking about gigafactories. So we would like to have in the European Union a very limited number of gigafactories. So we need to be able to integrate very strong computing power with, at least 100,000 GPUs, for example, with more data centers. And it's essential also for our technological autonomy. And so through these gigafactories, I think we will be able to stimulate developments in this field even more. But on the other hand, what the AI Continent Action Plan will do is to look at the adoption of AI in different sectors. And robotics is treated as a sector, but it shouldn't be, because obviously it's not a sector, it's an enabler for applications in many different sectors. And we will be running dialogues with many different sectors, including manufacturing, of course, to identify the specific challenges that the sectors have in the adoption of AI, but also in the adoption of robotics. And we intend to, in the future, in September, through an Apply AI strategy, come forward with very specific actions and measures to be taken to address these challenges. And there are many challenges in the area of data, in the areas of skills, and we are very open to hear the different contributions that will come from the different communities. So now one last word before I close, because of the regulation that was mentioned earlier. So we have, in the European Union, the AI Act, and the rules that apply in particular to robotics or to AI embedded in machines will be applicable, actually, even if the AI Act is already in force, but these rules will be applicable in the summer of 2027. And we are engaging very intensively in the development of standards. I think this is a very important element. And we will come forward, the European Union has committed to look into the simplification of its own legislation, including the digital legislation. So we are looking at whether we can simplify, in particular, reporting requirements for smaller companies, but we are not going into, obviously, a big revision of the AI Act. We think it's important to have these rules, because wherever I go, I always hear, yes, but for my robots to be safe, well, the manufacturer has to trust my robot. It has to trust the way the data are used. It has to trust the fact that they will, the probability of incident is really minimized. And for all this, the AI Act is extremely useful. We will align it with the machinery regulation. We're already working on this, so that a robot maker will just have one CE marking process to face, and we will be aligning all the standardization requirements. But it's very important to keep in mind that the trust in the technology is essential for being able to deploy the technology, and that the fact that the technology is trustworthy should be used as a comparative advantage also relative to other developments, although everybody, all the robot makers deploying their robots in the European Union will have to comply with the rules, not only the European ones. Of course, this is a level playing field, but it is very important to keep these elements in mind for the acceptability of the product, which unfortunately sometimes I notice it still has some difficulties in being accepted by industries, but also by hospitals and other actors. So the rules can be heavy, and we will try to streamline them as much as possible. And we are looking into this kind of criticism very, very seriously at this point in time. But again, they can be useful to support the further development of the technology, for which collaboration is essential for the whole supply chain. AI, robotics, manufacturing companies, or health organizations, or pharma organizations. We hope that the collaboration will really be the key of the next developments that will take place in the European Union. Thank you very much.
Lucilla, thank you very much for your input. And as well, maybe one question. As a researcher, I often have the impression that in Europe we start with regulation and then with standardization driven by industry and then with the innovation process, because then we have a stable process for investments, right? Some other continents in the world, they go the other way around. They said, okay, let's innovate, let's have a look on the standards, and then we do the regulation. So what's your personal perspective on that approach?
Well, I think the European Union has taken has made a very clear choice when it comes to product safety, about having, first of all, a process that makes sure that when a product comes to the market, the product is safe. If you have an incident, you risk then that you probably have to take away the product from the market. If there is no regulation, you would be asked to take the product away from the market, and innovation would risk to be slowed down. So I personally believe that the product safety approach, which is the one that we also apply to AI, and which is also applied to the machinery regulation for robotics, is extremely useful from this point of view. I've seen in other countries, like the United States, where, as you say, the approach is the opposite, more based on the regulation comes later. But still, sometimes the regulation doesn't come. And then what happens is that there is a lot of expensive private litigation. We avoid this here. And I think that's an important element also to be taken into account for our economy.
Okay. Thank you very much, Lucilla, for your input. Thanks a lot. So we heard the perspective of the policy makers in Baden-Württemberg, in Europe, and now it's time to hear the perspective of an entrepreneur, of a startup. David Reger is here, the CEO and founder of Neura Robotics, the only company in Germany who is really focusing on humanoid robotics. David is a serial entrepreneur, so it's not his first venture. He started with that 2019, right, with Neura Robotics. And Neura Robotics is located in Metzingen. Some of you know because there is a famous outlet store. Boss and other fashion brands are driving there the market. Yeah, but now, step by step, we transform Metzingen in a robotics city. And in a few years, nobody can remember that famous store, and everybody will talk about Neura Robotics. I'm very happy to have him here and to listen to his keynote with the title Cognitive Robotics, a New Economic Engine for the Entire European Union. David, the stage is yours.
So hello everyone, and thank you for this great opportunity to be able to talk here. Yeah, I'm super excited and feel also very blessed to be part of this event. And I think I'm very proud that we actually managed to get this event here to Stuttgart. Thanks, Werner, and your team. Yeah, because I think robotics plays a bigger and bigger role on this planet today. And yes, we talked already about it was more, let's say, AI-driven robotics, smart robots. So today, different than always, I have here some notes because I will have later a keynote about my standard stuff. But today I try to make it a little bit more political also in that segment. Intelligent robots will enhance robotics and humanity on a scale never experienced before. We scale robotics and AI beyond anything ever imagined on this planet. Intelligent robotics is going to be the key economic driver, at least that's what I say, and there is also a lot of others which are working on that. And Germany, and I think also the whole EU, and I think all we together, we can actually decide if we want to play or we want to watch on the side the game which is going to happen. I think this is also why we are all here on ERF 2025, and also why I think it was necessary also and the right timing for that. Baden-Württemberg just published, as we just heard, the position paper Intelligent Robotics of the Future. I clearly recognize the importance of robotics for our future and puts startups alongside established companies, research institutions and ministries as equal partners and innovators. That's the way we have to approach this future. Minister HOFFMEISTER-KRAUT unfortunately left already. So thank you for the strong commitment from the very beginning to advance robotics on a practice-oriented path. And I can also tell and have a lot of proof points for that, because she supported us from the very beginning and was always supportive through the whole path of the last 6 years. Although I have to allow, let's say, a friendly little side note about the timeline. I mean, we all hear the year 2035, and it might sound very close, maybe from some perspective, but I do think in robotics it looks different, because I am personally a lot more optimistic that intelligent robotics will become part of everyday life, and this will happen far faster than most people currently imagine. I think a lot of people here will agree. Yeah, the reason for telling that, so I'm not very used to talk without slides, is actually also on the published goal of China by 2030. I mean, China published they want to reach about 5% working labor, let's say transform 5% working labors into humanoid robots, which means it's more than 40 million robots by 2030. For some of us, it might sound scary, because if you really think about, we will actually find out that Germany has, I think, about 45 million working labor altogether. But I do think it's actually exactly the push we in Europe need today to actually wake up and start working on the next big thing. It's a huge opportunity, not only for us at Neura Robotics, in leading the innovation of cognitive robots, it's an opportunity for all automotive regions across Europe. And I will also later mention why, because the faster robotic market grows on the global stage, the more we can leverage our automotive strength. And we have everything needed, not just to keep pace with Asia and US, but actually to move ahead of them. I know it's very optimistic, but I think we just need to start. Because the winner won't be decided by, let's say, the best prototype humanoid robot today. It's all about infrastructure. It's all about ecosystem. The winner will be those who master the complex, high-quality serial production of full-stack products, combined with an enabling platform to not limit everything by ourselves. And this is actually where Europe automotive industry stands out. We have supplier networks which are unmatched globally, and we have priceless physical training data from countless automation applications. Remember, the automotive industry was the big driver of automation and robotics some decades ago, and I think it will be also the starting motor in the beginning. Today, with cognitive and intelligent robotics, not only the automotive industry has a chance to transform itself and stay competitive internationally. This time, robots itself will move beyond B2B, become mainstream itself, and I'm very convinced on that. But we need to move fast, faster than today and faster than anyone else on this planet. Innovation is a sector which is not longer driven just by research, but actually also by the real-world demand. Looking at the aging society, we will actually have, like until 2030, I just read, we will need about 12 million people to somehow, which we will miss through the aging population. So as soon as market take off, things will move very quickly. We learned that in the hard way with the internet and the smartphones. Unfortunately, when smartphones started, we weren't ready for the hardware market, and we weren't ready for the software and app market either. So speaking of smartphones, this bridge brings me to another key point regarding the future of robotics. Because smartphones are a perfect example to help us understand what's coming and where our focus needs to be. Because if we are talking about robots of the future, we are actually talking about smartphones with arms and on wheels or on legs. Robots will become into every household through thousands of apps and add-ons. And all these apps and add-ons need a reliable open platform which provides the basic features, cognitive abilities. I'm talking about multiple sensors to understand environment, learning capabilities, swarm intelligence, to share, learn things. That's kind of what the iPhone offered and which was basic for the exploding app market and the industries later. That's why we at Neura Robotics focus on cognitive robots, abilities, and create a whole universe which connects hardware, software developers, users, and robots themselves, what we call Neuraverse, and we open it to everyone in the industry. Neuraverse is the reason why robotics, no matter which form factor, can learn in a cloud, share trainings, and develop skills faster than anyone would have predicted. Because that's what we have to do, or we cannot say we are the best in everything. I think we do need this community to actually win this segment and build this ecosystem around us. With this in mind, it becomes easier to imagine robots entering households much sooner than we currently think. And we at Neura, we even want to launch this year the first one of them. It's all about us and how we work together. If we here in this building that we want to make it happen like by next year, I'm convinced we will make it happen by next year. Because what we actually also saw on our Neuraverse platform, we convinced a lot of major international companies to settle into our environment, even sharing our office space today in Metzingen, because they sense the energy of change here and want to join the Neura momentum. This way, we are about to create a robotics hub in our region today, so we are working hard on that, which has a clear focus on market-driven innovation. It's super inspiring and energizing to see how global corporations with vast sales networks join forces with hungry, highly motivated startups in our regions today. With our robotics hub, we are building a dedicated space for collaboration and technology transfer between large companies and startups. This is actually, I think, if you look at also how we go to market, how we do things, we mostly don't try to do everything ourselves because we know that we are limited. And we could do even better if we work even more closely with our excellent research and science institutions in the region and also across Europe, which are all here today. I mean, Werner, Dr. Kraus, let me thank you as a representative. I mean, with you we know each other for some while, and I think we have a very great collaboration in the past, but I also know that we need to do much better in the future. Because let's align the key foundational research of institutions like Robotics Institute Germany, for example, across Europe with a fast-moving, unconventional startup clocks. Within power of established industries, we must not restrict ourselves to niche solutions, in my opinion, but actually do it like we did it like in the automotive industries. I mean, we built their platforms and buses, tractors, whatever, all kind of possible vehicles, and I think the same thing will also happen in the robotics world. With the same, and I think we can actually look at the old approach and just remember and do it the same way. Let me finish with some inspiring facts and figures and back all of this up. I mean, if I can just quote, like, for example, NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang, which is calling the robotics market of the future, intelligent robotics market of the future, as a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity. I mean, we can talk about ARK Invest, which is calling the robotics market will exceed like the 24 trillion. We can call also Elon, I'm not sure if it's still cool here, but I mean, he's talking about there will be more robots than humans on planet until 2040. And if we are talking, as I started also talking, comparing it to the smartphone market, to just give you rough numbers, just this year there will be more than 1.2 billion smartphones shipped worldwide. Finally, here in Europe, we should keep one important thing in mind, because I think this is also always something what I hear a lot. It's about success doesn't always need a $1 billion investment. Not a very long time ago, and I still like this example a lot, some US tech stocks were really shaken by a Chinese company called DeepSeek. They called it a DeepSeek moment and realized that with the right focus, high results can be achieved with minimal resources. Efficiency was the key word. And who in the world is best known for efficiency? I will not comment. How many DeepSeek moments are just around the corner here in Europe? I'm sure the next groundbreaking moment will come from Europe. I'm convinced by that, slightly biased, and put serious pressure on some global giants. Speaking of neurobotics, we don't rely on hype. We move forward step by step since 2019 with the same goals. And any of our next steps could be the Neura moment for, let's say, cognitive robots and humanoids. So I'm very, very thankful for your precious time, and I hope I could tease you a little bit of what we are doing and where we could come if we just work together. Thank you.
David, thank you very much. Maybe as well one question. We heard about the possibilities, the market size, as well the possibilities of financing a startup company. So we have many researchers here, we have many enthusiasts, robotic enthusiasts here, and we see a lot of nice solutions out there in the different exhibitions we have. So what is your basic recommendation? So if you really would want to be successful with your startup in that field, what is the main thing you have to consider?
Yeah. So first, I would also still like to know, because we're still on the way, and I think we have still to work hard to really reach something. But yes, my recommendation, like, have a vision and motivate some people for it, and then work hard and never let down also, because that's what we did. Like, we had a lot of situations where I thought, okay, it's over, and it was a great time, but somehow we found again like new ways out of the situation, and just, in my opinion, made it quite successful in a very short time. And that's also what I hope, that we will see more here in Europe, especially, like stopping complaining about the situation, about like what we have right now, because I always say, like, and it's actually a quote of my mother, because she always told me, like, if I tell her about dark moments, she always said, like, or like in Germany about what happening, and if I discussed with her, she always said, hey, it's good for you, because I mean, in dark times, like, it's very dark, small lights will also shine a little brighter. And this is also what I think it's really helping us a lot.
Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Love it. Thanks. Thanks. We are already a little bit late, so I will make it short. Thanks a lot for joining our keynote session. I think we heard a lot about the European perspective, and now we have maybe a better idea what the European way will look like in the future.